Hi folks, you're with Tacitus Today. Tacitus Today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio live stream. This essay is about a little look inside American courtrooms. These are in the cities, and I clicked on one by accident. The screen refreshed with an advert, and so I clicked on the wrong thing that I wanted to look at, and it came up with this courtroom scene. It's only a short video; it went for like a minute and a half. So I thought, well, I'm on it now. I'll look at it, and it was the camera panned around. You could kind of hear some of the talk, but panned around a courtroom. Now, this was where it was like a pre-trial hearing. This was where the people were like being processed, and dates for for court hearings or the full trial being given. So this was the first one, and so how I mean, on one side it was super woke, on the other side it was super unwoke. So let me just describe what I've seen, and I ended up clicking on another few. There's actually quite a few of them online, and they pretty much the same thing. There was really no difference. So let me describe. I want to describe this because it shows just how far, I believe at least, how far the legal profession has fallen in actually doing its job of discovering facts and dealing with reality and making sure that the innocent go free and the guilty are punished and all that sort of stuff. So we're looking really here at a monumental failure of justice, and it's happening in real time. As much because it's been invaded by ideology and wokeness as much as anything else, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but let me describe the first court scene. So if you scripted it, if you went to Hollywood and said, give me a woke version of at least the lawyers and the judges, this is what they'd give you. So the prosecutor was Hispanic and appeared to be doing the job under great sufferance, just sort of going through the motions. Didn't seem to give a shit and spoke like a college kid. I suppose she'd be a Hispanic woman in, I would guess, mid to late 30s, quite shabbily dressed, suggesting that she's not paid very well or is careless with money, perhaps. But again, just the don't care attitude was quite surprising. And then there was the public defender who was more energetic, but not energetic to do with facts or the law or anything. Just constantly came out with, again, this she was an Asian woman, I would suspect a lesbian from the look, but she was talking about in very vague sort of broad terms about the rights of the accused. Everything she uttered wasn't a matter of law or case law or anything at all like that. It was, my client comes from, this person comes from an oppressed minority. They've been oppressed for centuries. Poverty, slavery, oppression, white supremacy, pretty much every sort of leftist, wokist, globalist talking point. She just kept on repeating them over and over. And I don't know that it had much effect on the judge, but anyway, she just kept on going, and questions were asked or assertions made that weren't getting answers, so you had to sort of guess what was going on and try and interpret it. But for example, my clients or this kid, who, like, she's the public defender. This he was a young black man. He's been already locked up for a couple of weeks, and he's not a flight risk or this sort of thing. He's only had 3 other convictions for violent crime, so really that's not a big deal. Why don't we just let him go and he'll turn up for the trial? Now, the judge didn't even respond directly to that and say yes or no or what a load of nonsense. Why don't you just shut up, you stupid woman? Didn't respond in any way at all. Just kept on going. So the trial date's been set for so and so, and the defendant will be kept in custody, but didn't. And this came out minutes later, and just sort of as he was reading off in very bland sort of tone the determination. So there wasn't any response directly, which gave it an odd sort of feel that all the people in the room were actually talking past each other. But anyway, so then the camera panned. The camera panned to the so there's like a glass cage or a cage, and there's a glass front to it, where, and these are, I suppose, where violent crimes have allegedly been committed, and these are the alleged perpetrators. And so we're talking murder and savage beatings and this sort of stuff, or allegations of that at least. And so the camera pans to the people sitting in there, and there must, I think it's 16. I counted 16 people, but I think there was maybe another couple of people further back that the camera didn't pick up. But so let's say for 16 people now, 11 black, 4 Hispanic, and 1 white person. The white person was a woman who looked clearly terrified. And this, I imagine from the look of her face, this was the first time she'd ever had a brush with the law. But what got sort of surprised me was that actually, in terms of gender diversity, the accused people, there was quite a bit of gender diversity there. The women made up, or not quite half, but nearly half of the total. So I was rather surprised by that. So the woke brigade should take credit, should take heart there that at least in serious crime, murder and assault, that gender balance is being achieved. But the thing that got me most was that when the young black and there's the young black men, or even any of the black people got to say, okay, stand up, Jamal or something, or Deshaun or whatever, and stand up, and they had to come close to the glass, and then they had to say that what their name was, and that sort of, this is basic administrative stuff really, but they went through that. They just didn't care. The look on their face and their demeanor and attitude was, they just didn't care. The look in their face was one of you wouldn't even call it resignation to the outcome. It was just, I don't care either way. And I don't care where I live, I die. I don't care whether I kill or don't kill. I don't care if I steal or don't steal. It was just a don't care attitude. And this was, out of that many people, and you'd expect murderers or accused murderers to come from people with those attitudes, but I was surprised at how many there were across a number of courtrooms. Didn't matter whether you were looking at something from the Texas area or up in Chicago or in the Northeast. There was that same look. You could have interchanged the black people between any location, and they got that same look. And just to top it off, the judge is a Jewish homosexual. So super wokeness on the administration of justice side, and I don't know if this is changing anything, because if the accused is anything to go by, black people and Mexican gangs are still being heavily overrepresented in the murders and the super violent sort of crimes, and out of the 4 that I looked at, there is only 2 white people were involved, and the further you get into, say, the northern part of the United States, the fewer Hispanic people there are that are being accused. So you've got even a high proportion of black people there. So I was quite, well, I don't know, I'm not surprised, but looking at that, it just seemed odd to me that the people in the courtroom were of such low quality, both the public defender and the public prosecutor. The DA, not that the DA was personally there, it was flunkies out of the DA department, but what low quality they were. Wow. Now again, this wasn't a full trial, so you just need procedural people. You don't need your high powered lawyers at this thing. But the way the courtrooms are depicted on TV of these these sharp-looking lawyers that are all looking really sharp and hot, and their hot suits and all that sort of thing. No, that is definitely not the case here. The court officials look like they're on the bones of their ass, barely getting by. So anyway, that was the scene. I thought I'd just do a video about that, because the idea that black people are being unfairly targeted and and this sort of stuff, when in the case of the accused here, there's video evidence that they did watch them go up to someone and kill them, that sort of thing. So it's not like it's a matter for much debate, but their mobile phone location put them right on that spot at that time, and this and that, so witnesses and the whole yard. So it's pretty much a slam dunk. But why is it that black people are so heavily involved in these violent crimes? I don't quite understand that. And no matter how lenient the system may or may not be, I don't know if that'll change anything, and if it will, to what extent. So it was an interesting look. I thought there'd be more white people involved in these things. I thought there'd be some, but out of I've got to be pushing 50 to 60 overall. People who are in this accused thing. There were 2 white people. So it just goes to show that the FBI statistics that the government seems to want to hide, because they want to argue about white supremacist Nazis are everywhere. In fact, the opposite is the reality. But of course, the real reality here is black people going around murdering each other or murdering anybody really is not a threat to the globalist project. Whereas white people organising and getting together and demanding free and fair elections, that is a threat to the globalist project. And so that's really where the Justice Department is going. It's fully politicised now to protect the globalist project, and is much less designed now to administer justice on the street for things like robbery and murder and so on. You've been a Tacitus today, your Pushback channel. Thank you for listening.